Hi everyone, thanks for joining me for my first process video today. I'm going to be sharing with you a layout that I did for a challenge over on the Victoria Marie Facebook group. She did a layout that everybody really liked, so she made it a challenge for us to scrap lift her layout. So that's what we did, and we've all been having a great time doing that. So basically what I did here was I cut a bunch of strips of paper, and they were all in different sizes, but I did cut them 6 inches in width so that way they fit nicely around my photo. I then punched some scallop strips, and you'll see me put one down, and then I'm going to mess it up because I put it down crooked, and I decided I'm going to try and pull it up, which I did once, and I was okay with that one. But I'm going to decide it's crooked. I don't like it, and so I am going to try and pull it off, and you see it rips. So I punch another one, and then I use my T-square, and I line it up against that, and it's pretty straight now, and I'm happy with that. And you won't be able to see the torn one when everything's all said and done. So now I'm going to go and start working on lining up my other pieces of paper that I have. So you're going to see me start just moving them over on the scallops and get my picture lined up. And then I'm going to just get those other strips and start moving them over too. And once I get those pretty much how I want them, I'm going to start gluing them all down. And I cut some of that out. But I am now going to glue down my picture because I'm going to start working on the top part of the layout, and it was just easier to have the picture glued down before I got those top pieces down. So now I'm working on the other scalloped edge that I punched and putting that down, just using a little bit of wet adhesive on that. And now I am just working on bending my papers a little bit. And here I'm going to use my spray ink on a stencil, and you'll see I messed that up, and it went over the edge, and there was no way I was going to be able to cover that up easily. So I just decided to take my cardstock as it was, and I just cut it on both sides. And then I took a brand new piece of cardstock and used my stencil again, this time being more careful, sprayed it, and then I took my piece of paper with everything and just put it on that cardstock. So now I'm just kind of laying out my pieces where I think that I want them, moving things around, and now I'm just kind of going through some of the sticker sheets and trying to see what I would like to put on my layout as embellishment. And there was a woman who was in the sort of the background of this photo, and I was trying to cover that up some. So I'm trying to find a sticker that I like here that I can put over her. So I'm just going through now and seeing what I like. So that sticker said life is good, and eventually I will end up putting that there, but right now I think I'm thinking about it. But then I do decide I'm going to keep those photo corners, so I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. Then once I do that, I think I start working on doing the rest of the embellishment again. Oh, and first I have to glue down my whole piece of paper that I cut off of my other cardstock that I messed up. So I'm going to glue that down onto this piece of cardstock. And now that I've got that situated, I'm going to start looking at my embellishments and see what I want to put down on the layout. So I have these little wonky scallops, and I got that cut file from the Cut Shop on Etsy. And if you haven't checked out Ashley Horton's cut files from the cut shop, she has a lot of cute stuff, so you really should go take a look. I'll put a link in the bottom. So now I'm going to commit to that flower. So I put a little bit of dimensional adhesive on there just so it would be popped up a little bit. And I had this other sticker that was a little tab, and it says #awesome, and I thought that was really cute. So I'm going to stick that down now, and I'm going to go back and pop that up, give it a little dimension as well. And now I'm looking at the different stickers and seeing what I want where. I was going for the flowers, and then I had that other little sticker that was black and green that said "Crazy About You." And I end up putting a little pink flower, I think it says "Love You." I put that down on the bottom right. And of course I used a little dimensional adhesive on that. And then I pulled another flower and was contemplating whether I should use that one or not. And I'm going to end up putting that there. Which now I kind of like that little flower I had, but I'm happy with what I chose. So I'm going to end up putting some dimensional adhesive on that, and I'm going to stick that up at the top. Just figuring out where I want it. And now I'm going to commit to that. And now I'm going to start fluffing up those papers, bending them some, and that one is stuck under that little sticker just a little bit, so I'm going to move it up a hair, stick it back down so that I can kind of scrunch up those papers. And now I'm going to put a little bit of dimensional adhesive under some of those layers as well, just because I think it just gives it a nice effect. I really don't like things to be so flat. I like a lot of dimension, and I'm really not concerned if my books are thick. I like the dimensions, so I know not everybody feels that way. But that's the great thing about scrapbooking, because there is no right or wrong way, and we can all do what we like. So now I was just fiddling with that pop dot because it wanted to keep sticking out there. So now I'm focusing on the left side of my page, and that has my title and some more of those cute little wonky scallops. And here I played around with my title. You know, I wasn't sure whether I wanted it to be perfectly straight or if I wanted to make the letters askew. And I'm going to get that P down, and then I'm going to go from there, and I'm going to start realizing I don't want them to line up. After all, this is a layout about my daughter on the playground, having fun, being a little bit crazy, as you can see from the silly expression on her face in the picture. So I decide I'm not going to make them straight. So I do go and glue them down just a little bit off. And then once I get those stuck down, I will start looking at the word "just." And that is, the word "just" is actually a sticker, came off of one of the sticker sheets from Bella Boulevard. And I originally started with just red letters, and then I decided that the letters on that other sticker sheet, they were the perfect colors because they really coordinated with the papers that I used, even though they weren't from the same collection. So I pulled out the ones that I liked, and then got them on a piece of wax paper so I could see if I liked them or not. So, and I decided that I did. So eventually I'm going to get all those letters stuck down with play. And now I'm going to start fiddling with the word "just." And I'm going to stick those all down, and then I'm going to fiddle with them some more and get them just the way I want them. And the great thing about these letters by Bella Boulevard is that they do have some play to them, meaning you can move them around, but they still stick really well once you finally commit to where you want them to be. So I move them around a little bit and get them just the way I want, and I've never had a problem with them falling off any of my layouts. Occasionally I'll put just a tiny dot of wet adhesive behind them if I feel like it's really not sticking, but I didn't do that here. I did think about getting my sewing machine out and just sewing across them just for the effect that the sewing machine adds and that extra texture. But I decided I wouldn't do that on this layout. And I just got them stuck down. And then I decided that I would outline them because I felt with that yellow mist, I felt like the T was just kind of fading into the background. So I did outline them, and once again I started at first trying to keep the outlining all nice and neat, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this is a layout about my daughter on the playground. It's about having fun. So then I kind of let loose and just started outlining and getting a little bit crazy. You can't really see it here, but I don't think, but in the close-ups at the end, you'll probably be able to tell what, that I kind of just let it go and just outlined however I felt like. So now I'm going to glue these little wonky scallops down, and it just takes a tiny bit of wet adhesive, and I'm going to get that glued down up at the top of my layout. And I apologize if parts of this are cut off. The way I have my setup right now, I just had to use my husband's tripod and attach my gooseneck clamp to his tripod, which is up on my table. Eventually, I'm going to get some shelves in my new room, and once I do, I'll attach my gooseneck clamp to that, and then my setup will be a little bit better. But anyways, so I put another scallop down at the bottom, and then I was trying to decide whether I wanted to type out journaling on white cardstock or whether I wanted to write, and I decided to go ahead and write my journaling. So I drew out some lines. I just took out my T-square and drew lines. I usually don't write freeform without lines because I know it will be crooked, and even though this is a layout about playing and having fun, I do generally like to have my text straight, otherwise it will drive me crazy. I'm a little OCD about that. So I'm just getting those lines on and drawing and doing my journaling. I think I drew a couple out, and then I try not to draw too many in the beginning just in case I'm not sure how much journaling I'm going to have. So I think I did go back and add an extra line. So now I finished that up, and I went and pulled out my date stamp and stamped the date as well. And now I'm going to pull out my India ink because I love that effect that the black dots give you. So I just held it up pretty high and just let it drop. So I added some dots up top and then just put a little bit down at the bottom. And after that, I decided that the right side needed a little something, but I didn't want to use India ink. So I pulled out my enamel dots and just put some black ones in 3 different areas. I put it by each little sticker. So by the pink flower, and then by the sticker up top, and then I'll put the 3 by the Life is Good sticker by the photo. And that's really all I did for this one. It was a really fun layout though, and here's some close-ups. And thanks for bearing with me in my first process video, and I will get better as time goes on. But I appreciate you watching, and hopefully you'll subscribe, and I hope to be getting more videos up soon. Thanks so much, and have a great day.